Channel. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Serpent Elevate RTA. This is a collaboration between Suck My Mod and Wotofo, and it does come in a variety of colors. It comes in black, rainbow blue, gunmetal gold, and stainless steel. It is a 24 millimeter in diameter RTA. It is a single coil RTA. And it comes with a nice fun drip tip and some other different things inside. Like an extra drip tip. It comes with some tools and things like that, and actually some cotton coils. I'll show you all that down low. So let's go ahead and get started on the Serpent Elevate. Okay, here we are with the Serpent Elevate by Suck My Mod and Wotofo. This is the box that it comes in. I have to tell you, I know it's like really loud, but I love it. I actually love this box. On the side, you're gonna see that it gives some attention. Over here, it's an electronic cigarette. Some underage warnings. It says Wotofo. It's gonna tell you your color. Mine is actually golden. On the side, it's actually just gonna tell you what is included in your kit. It doesn't give you any specs. And then you've got the scratch off authenticity. And of course, on the back, you're going to have the Serpent Elevate with the little serpent on it, which I think is freaking awesome. I love Wotofo packaging. That's all I can say. I really love it. And of course, inside, you're going to get your RTA. You're going to get your spare bubble glass, which we are going to take it's actually a PMMA bubble, not glass, but a bubble tank. You're going to get your RTA, and in here, which is kind of hard to get out, you're going to get an extra drip tip. Here's your 510. I've already taken it out once. Your 510 drip tip adapter goes here. And then this is the hard part, is getting this drip tip out. There we go. Okay, and then you get this extra drip tip right here, so you can always trade it off. I don't think that it matches the gold, so I'm actually going to leave the gold on it. I'm not going to take that out, so I took it out for nothing. Then, of course, you're going to get your little pamphlet. Now, this is a pamphlet. It's not really a manual. One thing I did not find on here, and I did look, I'm hoping I looked really well, it doesn't give any specs to the RTA, which I was kind of upset about, because in order to find out what the specs are for this RTA, you literally have to go online to the Wotofo site, or you have to go look it up at, wherever the vendors are going to be to find out any of the specs on it. So yeah, so that's the only thing that I found about this. Otherwise, it's got all the other information. Then you're going to get 3 little baggies. I love the fact that they have changed these out, and they no longer say, what was it that it used to say? I don't know. It was more like a trick wire or something like that. So I really love that. You're actually going to get this baggie, which has some cotton in it. This is the Wotofo cotton, and I really like Wotofo cotton. Then you're going to get some spare O-rings and also some grub screws. And then in this package, you're actually going to get a set of coils. Now, you can use your coils, or you can use theirs. The ones that these are made out of are actually all Nichrome 80. They are 3 millimeter in diameter coils. And then it gives you the specs here. It's going to tell you what the power range for these coils are. So yeah, so that's really nice. I do like that they provide that. I just like using my own because I've got OCD and I love mine. Then of course, you're going to get your Allen key. And you're going to get your little Barbie screwdriver, your flathead screwdriver, and then you're going to get this tool here. Now, this is actually based off of the coily tool. I know I've mentioned it before. I'm going to mention it again. I love my coily tool. This is actually not limited to different sizes. It's actually got the variety of different sizes, and this has actually got the measurement tools that this doesn't have. What they're doing when they're doing these is they're just telling you what they are so that you can cut it. But the actual coily tool, actually, you can actually measure it based off of what type of atomizer that you're using. So I really like the original coily tool personally. So I like using that better. So now let's get over to the star of the show, and that is the Serpent Elevate. Now, first of all, I did watch Suck My Mod's intro just to find out all I wanted to see was where he was coming from when he created this. And I never did get the first RTA that he had the Serpent RTA. I never got that. I never got the RTA that he used. So I really have not received any of his products to actually try out. This is actually my first one, so I can't give any type of comparisons. But apparently by elevating the airflow from the bottom to the top, it's actually where the name came from. So he didn't want to call it anything else, so he called it Serpent, which was the original name, plus elevate, since he elevated the airflow. Now right here, this kind of design here is actually meant to be like a serpent skin, which I think is kind of neat that they did incorporate that. I mean, it's like literally the packaging and everything. It just goes right into it. And then of course you've got your logo here for the serpent, and then the Suck My Mod logo right there. I know it's kind of hard to see because it's in gold, but I'm sorry. I love, love, love gold, and I haven't received any except for this one. It does have an 810 style drip tip. You can use any 810 type of drip tips, and if you use the 510 drip tip adapter, it does sit flush in here for you to use your 510, which I think is cool. Now the drip tip is a little tapered down. It's not like flat anywhere, and it's kind of the hole is actually narrow, so it's not a wide open airflow through the drip tip, if you see it there. But you can use any drip tip that you want. I'm going to leave that because on the top, we've got the top juice fill. They're really nice size holes. They could have been bigger, but they're really, really nice size. You can get any of the Gorilla type bottles in there with no problem. And you can also use the dropper. The reason why is because it's got like this little plate here. So if you get any on the side, it's going to go right into the hole. So it's great either way. So I do like that. This is actually the top cap. I love this system here. I think that it's going to be more beneficial, especially for the airflow, because it is a side bottom type of airflow. I think this is actually going to help bring it up, because the fact that this isn't all solid and it's got some grooves in it, I think that's actually going to help with it. And then of course you've got your airflow control ring here. It is on a stopper, so whatever you do to one side will happen to the other. The bottom is a 24 millimeter in diameter RTA. It does have the Wotofo logo. Of course, that serpent style there, I really like it, and it says Serpent Elevate. And then of course you've got your protruding 510 pin. And then to go further into it, all you need to do is just unscrew the base. You unscrew it, and this is actually the deck. It is a single coil deck. People have said single or dual. I really want to say, based on the size of this this deck, I want to say that a really nice single coil is all you really need. Anything more than that, I think you're going to be overpowering it. I don't think it's going to give you the potential that it has. On the side here, you're going to see this is actually German peak insulation. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but apparently it's a really, really good insulation. Then of course you've got your screws there, you've got your screws here, and as always, even on a single coil deck, you're going to get 4 holes because it depends on which way your coil is wrapped. If it's wrapped this way, then you can put your legs that way. If it's wrapped that way, you put it that way. Now for the airflow, when it comes down, it's actually supposed to be coming down. It's going to come into this little area here, which is really, really hard to see, but there's like this little hole here. And then it comes up. If you look really deep into that deck, you see the hole there in the deck? That's where the airflow is going to come up under your coils and go back out. I think that is ingenious. I think that's definitely going to enhance the flavor. So yeah, so that's absolutely great. And then of course you do have your wicking channels, which is right here and right here. And then you've got your little reservoir right here. Now, one thing that I am going to show you on wicking is you don't want to put this all the way down. This is very similar to like the RDTAs that came out, that people were putting them all the way down in the glass. You don't need to do that. You're just going to have it literally peek out the bottom of the airflow, the juice flow holes, because if not, then you're actually going to get dry hits because it's too stuffed. Or if you don't put it at least peeking through the bottom, you have the potential of flooding it. So I definitely recommend putting it down just a little bit. Sorry about the sucking of the teeth. It was just, I'm just telling you, you got to listen to me. Okay. So there you go with your wicking channels, which I think are really, really nice. I can't wait to actually build on this for you. And then here, if you notice the actual, well, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to take the glass off because it's still wet because I was using that one. I used that one because I didn't want to use this one because I was waiting for you guys. But if you notice, it's really nice and domed out. That top right there is really, really domed. And I think that that's going to bring in the flavor. Not only that, if you've noticed, like on the Recurve RTA, the smaller or more compact the chamber, the better the flavor. So I can tell you right now that you're going to get really nice domed chamber. And then of course the threading is really, really smooth, as you heard when I opened it. So let's go ahead and put the PMMA on it. Now, honestly, I know why they went with the PMMA, because it's going to last longer. I'm going to tell you, one of my cons is going to be, I really don't like it. I would rather have had a clear glass, because now you've literally taken away all the aesthetics that I liked about this chamber, the inside chamber. I liked having the logo there. I loved seeing this logo. When you put on the PMMA tank part, you can't see any of it. So that to me is a little bit of a con. I mean, it's not a big deal. Even looking at this, I still love it even with that. But I just want to point that out. Okay, so you know what time it is, right? It's time to build. So let's go ahead and build on this. So of course, it's gold. I'm going to be putting it on my Shikra because I love this Shikra, and I've been looking for a gold RTA. So this is by far the best combination right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Of course, get my coil. The coil that I'm going to be using today is the Frame Staple Coil by Coil Clout. These are made of Nichrome 80, and they do have measurements when he sends them. I've got 2 left, but I'm going to use 1. And you can get these at coilclout.com. And if you use Wendy 15, you actually get 15% off. And at the same time that you're getting coils, if you want to get a coily tool, he also carries those. How cool is that? 2 for 1. So yeah, so let's go ahead and loosen these up. So I'm just going to go ahead and loosen up those grub screws. And I really don't like using these little Allen keys. Let me see if I can find my little Allen key. Yes, there we go. It should be the right size. And which way is that one heading? I'm going to do it this way. This is where your legs are important. Very, very smooth coming out. And then you have it open like that. And then I'll show you this one, if you can see it, because it's kind of like, being that it's like that brush, what is it called? The brushed type of stainless steel, or the bead blasted. I know what I want to say. The bead blasted stainless steel. It makes it a little bit harder to see it, but yeah, you can see it down there. So I'm just going to pull this out a little bit more, but very, very smooth screws, or you know, those things. Anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Now, the coily tool, or the little measurement tool that they gave, it actually said to do 6 millimeters. So I'm going to go ahead and use the 6 here and cut them off. Chop, chop, chop. And get this one. I really need new cutters. Anybody? You want to send me some cutters? There we go. Some really, really good ones, because these are like getting like really, really old. But look how easy that is. That's why I love this coily tool. So now I'm going to just get my handy dandy screwdriver, my favorite screwdriver, and we're going to go ahead and put this coil in. I'm going to put one leg here, one leg there. There we go. Shorter is better. And I'm going to use my tri-tool for this. I love these tri-tool things. Just go ahead and tighten that up. And everything's gold, so I'm sorry about all the shininess here. But if you notice, this is not too much of a fingerprint magnet. There we go. And then all I have to do now is just straighten out that coil. You want to make sure that none of the coil is touching either of the sides. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull this over here like this. Center it right there. Pull it up just a hair. This is why I don't have batteries in here, because I end up burning myself. Okay, so there we go. It's nice and put in there. It's low down, but it's not touching, so that it gets plenty of airflow. Just gonna pull it up just a tiny bit more, just a little hair. There we go. So it's low down, so it's gonna get the flavor, yet when the side airflow comes in and it comes up, it's gonna really, really be perfect. All right, so let me go ahead and put some batteries. Down and up. Oops, down and up. And we'll turn this on and start firing it. Turn it down first. Definitely turn it down. Okay, you always want to heat up your coils at a lower setting because if not, then you can actually burn out the coils fast. So let me go ahead and get my ceramic tweezers because we never use metal, always ceramic. This was actually on my live stream too, I mentioned that. And you can just lightly strum them, play with them, just squeeze them together. Or what you can do is also just lightly pull it apart. And sometimes that will help it heat up a little bit faster as well. It's just a little light tug. There we go, see? It's almost there. And you can put them back together. Get all those hot spots out. Get that out. Almost done. Pull apart just a little bit more. And there we go. One more here. Not seeing any more. There we go. Heating nice from the inside out. And I am going to use the cotton that they provided because I do like this Wotofo cotton. It's very similar to my Kendo Vape cotton. So it's actually been the closest one that I've liked apart from the Kendo Vape cotton. So I only need one. So I'm just going to take out the one. The other one back. And let this cool down. Let's go ahead and put in the cotton. I like the fact that these come with that, like that little shoestring. All you do is just tuck it in there. Now these are 3 3mm coils. I'm pretty sure they usually come in sizes when you buy them. So this is for the 3mm. They do have smaller, but you pull the other end a lot of times. There we go. It'll go in nice and smooth. And I'm just gonna pull it back a little bit. So it's tight, but it's not too tight where it moves the coil, but it does move the cotton. So that's the way you want it. I'm going to go ahead and trim this. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to trim it right below the ledge. So right, like on where this black O-ring is. That's where I'm going to cut it. And then I'll show you what we're going to do. Take that out. And do this other side. These are really, really fluffy cotton. And again, right on the O-ring. And just go ahead and do that. Now, personally, and not everybody's going to do this, but I like to thin out my cotton. I will go ahead and fluff it out. Make sure it's nice and fluffy, especially on the ends. This is where it's going to be important because the ends are where it's going to be picking up from. I'm just going to trim that again because I want it to be sort of like wispy in the inside. Take that out. There we go. I want it wispy. A little bit more fluffing here. You don't want to fluff it out too much, but you don't want to leave it too thick either. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is just go ahead and tuck it in. There we go. Right there. It's like literally barely coming out. There we go. I want to show you that. And it's nice, and you see how my tweezer fits really, really nicely in there? That way it's going to juice up really, really nice. And if you notice, there's just barely any touching right here. Just barely. Now we're going to do the other side. Fluff that out. And then cut that. And I'll put that. For some reason, I'm like angled. Like I have angle vision or something. There we go. And then just go ahead and tuck that in there. Again, you want to make sure that it's got room for your tweezers. See how it's barely in there? You see how it's just very, very lightly coming out. It's not all the way to the bottom, just a little bit. And you want it to where easily your tweezers can go in. You're not forcing it. So I've got plenty of room there. And that way it can breathe. And you're not choking it off. So there we go. There we go. Actually, this one I'm going to thin out just a little bit more. When you're used to RTAs, you can pretty much feel it just by thumbing it. Again, with this whole angle thing. And just go ahead and put that in there again. Yeah, that feels much better. Because it's not that it's too thick on the bottom, it's that I felt it right here, right up here. But see, again, wispies on the bottom. See, wispies on the bottom. And then wispies on the bottom. This is really, really important, guys, because you don't want to get a dry hit and you don't want to get, you know, gurgling and things like that because you're going to get a really, really turbulent vape if you flood it. Now, the good thing is that with this RTA, if you do need to go ahead and freshen out your wicks or anything, you can still leave juice in the tank. Just turn it upside down when you're unscrewing it and you're going to be fine. So don't worry about that. So let's go ahead and get some e-liquid and get this started. And for today's e-liquid, I'm going to be using the Royal Cheesecake. This is from the Queen by Wendy Vape's juice line. There is information below the video if you're interested in this. There are 5 flavors, but you can make up to 7. So it's really, really good. And I'm just going to turn this up just a little bit more. And my coil's reading at a 0.17. Now that I've done the firing. There we go. Turn up a little bit. And I always wet, even though it's got the bottom airflow, I'm always going to wet my coil with the cotton because we want to make sure that the cotton is saturated within the coil. Really, really important, because if you don't, then it might take time for your cotton to break in. You might not get the full flavor. So you definitely want to do that. That I always suggest doing, and I do it in every single one of my videos. And then just go ahead and pre-wet these. You don't have to do it too much, but I always like to do that and then get my wispies back in. Yes, guys, I know it's my OCD. I can't help it. Just make sure. But you see how easy it is to fit right in here? That's really important. But smell my cheesecake. There we go. So now let's go ahead and screw this on. Go ahead and take off the top. What I'm going to do is, because I always do this with all my RTAs, is I'm going to close off the airflow. That's just something that I'm used to doing, either juice flow or airflow. I like to close it off and then just go ahead and fill this up. Now, if you're wondering if you can see your juice level through this PMMA, you can very easily see it, so I don't want you to worry about that. And with the PMMA, it does hold 4.5 mils of e-liquid. With the straight glass, it holds 3.5. So you know that's another reason why I'm going to be using the 4.5. So there we go. Open up the airflow and we're ready to vape. Let's go on top. Okay, so here we are back again with the Serpent Elevate on top of the Shikra by Sigelli. And I'm going to go ahead and take a vape and then we'll talk more about it. Very smooth. I can't compare it, like I said down below, I can't compare it to the other Serpent RTA because I never got it to review it, so I can't really compare the airflow and things like that. I do know that the original Serpent RTA had bottom airflow, whereas they brought it up and elevated the airflow, hence the name Elevate, to the top so that it would have a smoother airflow because it was a little bit turbulent or things like that, according to what I have researched regarding the first RTA. It is a single coil RTA, which is very easy to build on. It doesn't matter which way your legs are going. It does give you the 4 different holes for you to actually build your coils. The screws will really come out really, really easy. Very, very easy to build. I can't say anything about that. It comes with everything that you need. It comes with coils, cotton. You've even got your little coiling tool so that you can know where to cut your coils. And it comes with the bubble glass, which I like bubble glass compared to straight glass for a couple reasons. 1, because you have more capacity, and 2, because it always looks better. So, in my opinion, of course. So, yeah, so let's go over some of the cons. I'm actually going to go over the cons first. First off, and these are subjective cons. Some of them are subjective, some are just cons. One is going to be that there's absolutely no knurling on the bottom. And when you're trying to get that deck off, it's very, very thin. You have to be careful to make sure that you're holding it from the glass when you are unscrewing it, or you could possibly unscrew the top. The second is going to be that the coiling tool, I feel, should have been marked at 5 millimeters rather than 6 millimeters. Again, another subjective con. Also, with this PMMA bubble glass, you cannot see the logo at all. You literally cannot see any of the logo. That to me is a huge con because I would have liked to see the logo through the PMMA. I prefer the glass. I know the reasons why they would do PMMA so that, you know, if you drop it, you don't have to worry about that and things like that. But I actually prefer the glass over this only because I can see my logo. I can see the inside. I feel like it took away a lot of the look of the RTA by taking that off. The kidney holes where you fill your e-liquid are kind of small. So I would have preferred them just a little tiny bit bigger. I mean, it's not like you can't put e-liquid in, and like I told you, if you put it on the top anywhere and it spills out a little bit, the way that it's situated, you just tilt it a little bit, it'll go right into the hole. So it's not a really big deal. That's just a subjective con to me. Another huge con to me is going to be that there are literally no specs in the manual. It does not tell you that it's a 24 millimeter RTA. It doesn't give you any of that information. And yeah, I would have liked to have that information instead of having to go online and look up that information or measure it with my measuring tool. Other than that and the knurling, I really don't have any other cons to this. My pros are going to be that the pull is really smooth. No turbulence whatsoever. It does come with the bubble tank, which I think is another pro because I do like the bubble look rather than straight glass. So including it, I think is a pro. And the flavor is good, but it's not great. I've actually had a couple other RTAs where the flavor was a lot better. It's not that it's bad. It's just not, I thought that it would have been a little bit better, especially with the domed inside. I was expecting a lot better flavor. I know exactly what my e-liquid tastes like. I've tasted it and everything else. And it's my e-liquid. Like, how would I not know what it tastes like? So I have gone through at least 5 to 6 different fills with this before I even noticed that. And I was like, maybe it's the cotton. So I did switch out the cotton. And then I thought maybe it was the coil. So I switched out the coil and it wasn't. I'm still getting the same flavor no matter what. So again, it's good, but it's not great. I would have preferred a little bit more flavor in it. But other than that, I think that it looks absolutely beautiful. I love the looks of it. Other than not being able to see the logos on it, I think that it looks great. I love the fact that it does come in a multitude of colors. You've got at least 6 colors to choose from, and that blue looks really hot as well. So yeah, so that's about it for my review. If you want to get these, they will be at my VPro. I'm pretty sure Brad's Vapor is also going to be carrying this. That would be bradsvapor.com. You can use my coupon code WendyVapes10. That'll get you 10% off. And yeah, so that's it for my review. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one.